Well, good afternoon, KW, friends and family and special guests. I am so excited to be with you here today on KW Connect Live. I understand we're also streaming this on the Pivot Shift Ahead page, and I have something special in store for you. I have been waiting all weekend to facilitate this panel with these four amazing real estate agents in honor of AAPI Heritage Month. What is that, you may say? That is Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, started on May 1st, and we are celebrating it here at KW. And we are celebrating it by, we actually searched high and low, and quite honestly, we didn't have to go that far, for the best agents that we could host on this panel to bring you all kinds of information. So I've been super excited about it because you're gonna hear from some really top producing agents about the cool things that they are doing in their community. And they're gonna share with you best practices for you to build your business through community connections just like them. So I would please start by asking you all if you could tell people who you are. I did what I always do, which is I never tell people who I am. I am Julia Lashay Israel. I'm the head of diversity, equity, and inclusion for KW, and it is my honor to introduce you to this panel. So if you all would start by doing the same and just sharing a little bit about yourselves, your name, maybe your title if you have one, where you're from in this wonderful country or Canada, and how long you've been with KW for sure, and anything else you'd like to share about your business with the people. So Sujatha, do you mind if I start with you? Would you please introduce yourself?
Not at all. I'm so happy to be on this panel. Very, very thankful for this opportunity. My name is Sujatha Bhaskara. I am the founder and CEO of SB Group. We are located in Marlborough, New Jersey. I gave up a successful IT career to become a real estate professional. I resigned from my job about 5 years ago, but I've been a realtor for the past 17 years, and 15 of those years have been with Keller Williams, which is fantastic. And super excited to share that my team topped the charts for the New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania tri-state region in 2021 and also in 2022. This is huge, you guys. I don't know if you know this, but our price points are much lower than Northern New Jersey and Manhattan. So it is a privilege to make it on any of that, let alone top 5, right? And I've also been a winner of the New Jersey Circle of Excellence Award at the platinum level for multiple years. And that's the highest award that we can get as realtors in New Jersey. So apart from that, the joy of it is all these awards are great. It's just one form of recognition, but to be able to help 100 families with their move, I think that's huge, right? That's very rewarding. So I find that, I don't know, I feel like I'm in the right place at the right time. So that's a huge privilege for me. At the Market Center, I am also a certified Quantum Leap instructor, and I teach Quantum Leap to young adults. I also am on the IALC, so the Agent Leadership Committee. And so as part of that, I teach classes at the Market Center, like MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And all my classes, you can see I have like a kind of a theme, and it's all related to mindset, because I feel like anything worth doing, you have to think about it first before you can make it happen. And so I focus heavily on mindset and helping people understand. I mentor a lot of agents at the office, and I'm also involved with a lot of local charities to help raise funds for women, children, young adults, and they're within the US as well as in India. And later on, we can talk a little bit more about that. I consider myself a local realtor with a global reach. So I am part of the Federation of International Real Estate. So I do have connections all over the world. And I don't know if to kind of help my, clients, no matter where they are, either living here and buying somewhere else, or living somewhere else, outside of the US and buying in the US. I'm able to help them with all their real estate needs. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also, got invited to NAR, the National Association of Realtors in India event, and got connected with a lot of wonderful women. There's not a whole lot of women realtors out there, right? So then they got me on the panel to teach them about how real estate is being done in the US. So yeah, so a lot of opportunity, a lot of growth, and I am thrilled to be here and looking forward to sharing and learning from you guys.
I'm excited that you're here. I'm looking forward to learning from you too. You clearly have a lot that you're going to be able to share with us. So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Tommy, would you please introduce yourself to these wonderful people watching us on today's Connect Live and Pivot Shift Ahead pages?
I mean, how do I follow that? I mean, that was incredible. So Tommy Choi, grateful to be here. Thank you, Julia, as always, for everything you do for our community here. I'm from Chicago, born and raised, been in the industry for 15 years. Actually, you know, what's funny? I woke up this morning and my calendar alert hit me 15 years ago today at 2:11 in the afternoon, Central Time, is when I sent my resignation email to my corporate job. And I got into real estate. So it's a very full circle to be here, in this rectangle in front of everyone's screen here. I have a team called the Weinberg Choi Residential Team. Obviously, I'm the Choi, if you can tell, although I could be the Weinberg. We are the number 6 team in the city of Chicago out of 19,000 realtors, part of our board. Last year, we sold just over $107 million in real estate, just over $3 million in GCI. And just really grateful to be here. I've been with Keller Williams for the past 6 years. I'm an investor that helped launch the Chicago Keller Williams Market Center. It's called One Chicago. So that was a really fun thing to do. And now we sit here, over 500 agents, I think number 4 or 5 brokerage in the city. So we're continually growing and not stopping here.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'm excited to talk to you because you have a wealth of information to share with us as well. Thanks for being here, Tommy. All right, Justin, will you please tell us who you are? Introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Justin Chu. I help run a commercial team of 10 in Los Angeles County, California. Super passionate about getting on this AAPI panel because I'm a product of immigrant parents that came to this country in pursuit of an American dream. Like being active every day, being on the institutional asset advisors team. We run a team of 10 like extraordinary agents, and we, make 300 phone calls a week each. And, we try to strive for the best deals for our clients. I've been in the business for about 11 years, in KW for about 4. Just had my 32nd birthday. So
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, that's us. We're doing a bunch of 9-figure deals around America right now, across 10 states, like Julia said earlier, or will say. And yeah, that's us right here in California right now.
Awesome. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. And last but certainly not least, PJ, please introduce yourself.
Hello, my name is PJ Santiago. I've been a real estate agent for over a decade now. My entire career has been with KW Capital Properties here in Fairfax, Virginia, just outside of the Capital Beltway. I was recently voted as one of the best agents in customer satisfaction in the area according to Northern Virginia Magazine. And I, at the time, was I was the only member of the ARIA A list out of the state of Virginia with Bank of America and the association as a whole. I'm passionate about AAPI Heritage Month because I value the importance of my family's cultural heritage. I know that my mom being Chinese, my dad being Filipino, and both of them immigrating here from the Philippines, it is a story of courage, but it's also a story that symbolizes to me the pursuit of happiness. And knowing that my family's cultural heritage and how it will contribute not only to my daughter's legacy, but also to the fabric of the American story is very, very special to me. That's why I'm proud to be a part of this loving community.
This is awesome. I'm so glad to have you all. We're going to jump right into it. And of course, this panel is called Building Best Practices for Building Your Business Through Community Connections. So I would love to hear from you what you think that means to you. What does it mean to build community connections? And how has being connected in your community really been impactful in your life? And anyone who would like to start can start by answering that question.
I'll start.
Sure, PJ, yes.
Essentially, to me, community connection means that when I succeed in my business, my local community benefits as well. There's a certain feeling of interdependence to the point where we will thrive together, we will win together. As a matter of fact, with that in mind, I only feel comfortable lead generating and prospecting to a community where I already have had a positive impact. That is why I'm a very strong believer in the bold law of a coming from contribution, because I know that if I help the community first and I initiate the assistance, the community will help me return with referrals, with leads, and with resources as a whole. So I'm just grateful that I remember that from my time in Bold, the multiple times I was taking KW Bold.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. Someone else?
I can jump in, kind of piggybacking off what PJ said, and I think we have a golden thread that kind of ties us, a lot of us together here on the screen is, being products of immigrants or immigrating here, directly. And that's myself too. I'm first generation here, and how focusing, especially having this conversation revolving around AAPI month, me connecting with my Korean American community has been huge for building our business, and it's through education. I think about how my parents purchased their homes, right? That generation, and access to money was not the same as it is today. And in the Asian community, you see a lot of small business owners, ones that are very cash heavy as well, right? That may not have a traditional W-2. So it's a little bit difficult to get traditional conventional financing. And so when you see people like myself that are a product of immigrants, first generation to this country, and that crop of generation of home buyers, it's educating them that how they watch their family purchase is not the only way to purchase, right? And empowering them with the different tools and access that they have, and that educational piece pouring back into my community has been a huge way to develop our business and grow back. And to PJ's point, make it dovetails an instant connection, right, to the people not only that we serve, but who we are represented by.
Awesome. Thank you. What about you, Sujatha? Something to add to that?
Yes, definitely. So for me, I feel like it's understanding the needs of the community. We come from a background where, whether it's spices, whether it's vastu, I'm just going to say it like it is, right? There are certain requirements, right, that people hesitate to talk about. They feel more comfortable discussing these requirements with someone that's from their background.
Sure.
Right. So for me, it's understanding the needs of people that, that come from similar background and helping them get to where they need to get to. Right. And also there's no judgment, right? These are just beliefs, requirements, whatever they might be. And I just have to come from, again, like PJ said, from a place of contribution and say, okay, understanding that you have these requirements, how do I help you the best that I can? And sometimes it's not, I also realize that I don't have all the answers. And sometimes it might just be a matter of connecting them to someone that has the answers. So I'm super, super involved with there's all these close-knit groups that happen, there's all these big organizations that I'm part of, but most of the transactions that I get, or most of the business happens in these close-knit groups where pretty much everybody, we have WhatsApp groups that are going on with people talking about every little thing that they post, right? I need something. And it could be, where's the local Indian grocery store, right? Or something specific like that. And it's nice to be able to connect them. And sometimes we also have to overcome challenges, right? And like you said, there's some things that have specific requirements, so whatever that may be, right? I have to help them address that. And sometimes, it's like local businesses don't know. And I feel myself as like the connector. I'm like the center of the hub. And you have a need, I have I'm a fixer, right? You have a need, I have somebody that can help you with it. I connect them. So to me, it's not just growing my business, but empowering others around me to grow their businesses is what it means to me, that community connection.
And I'll add to that.
Right? At some point, that's going to come back. So, or doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
it's the joy. It's the joy. I mean, we did it. I don't think I actually thought about it that way until you put those words. You said those words, Julia. So, so it's, yeah, that's what that means to me.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And I'll add to that because I think there's some sort of familiarity when we have, and I don't know if it was happened this way, but we have a bunch of different ethnicities in our team right now. We have a Korean, we have Mandarin speaking, Cantonese speaking, Hispanic, and then African American as well. And so we like to be able to connect with our clients. And when we go to those meetings or have those cold calls, we get more of a deeper connection with those people because of our diversity. So it's pretty beneficial for business as well.
I love that you said that, Justin, because we often try to teach agents how diversifying their teams and their businesses can really help increase their production and create a larger reach. In the Agent of Distinction certification course that Tommy was a participant in on a panel similar to this one about community, the same thing, we have all kinds of numbers that can show when you have, and it doesn't even just need to be racial diversity, but any type of diversity on your team really helps make it stronger. So I love that you've said that. Speaking of, it's a perfect transition right into the actual business of it all, right? And so I'd love to talk to you all about all the things that you just shared with us about connecting to your community. Obviously, we do love it, and it does make us feel good. And there's all the value that it brings for us personally, but we don't do this for free, right? We do want to also benefit by actually being successful in our businesses. So I'd like to ask you some questions about specifically, how have you grown your business, through these community connections? And I'll start with you, PJ, if that's okay.
Sure.
And I just would love to know, I know that you are involved in some philanthropic, are y'all proud of me? I said it correctly, in the philanthropic organizations, specifically like the Filipino Cultural Association. And you mentor students as well. Talk to us about how that kind of shapes your brand and shapes the influence you have in your community.
Well, the Filipino Cultural Association is actually a student organization from my alma mater, George Mason University, here in Fairfax, Virginia. And I came to the realization that the overall impact was twofold, since I not only grabbed the attention of members of the AAPI community, but also the Alumni Association as a whole. Now, a lot of people don't realize this, but with recent data that was brought to our attention from the Pew Research Center, more than 54% of Asians aged 25 and older have a bachelor's degree, which is higher compared to 33% of the US population. And on top of that, the average foreign-born Asian household in the US had a household income of $85,800 versus $61,800 in all US households, with Indian Americans having an average of $119,000 and Filipino Americans being second with $90,400. So knowing that that type of data is out there in the market today, I realized that not only did I want to go back to my roots of where I graduated and where I learned how to develop the business that I run today, but I also wanted to show my appreciation by giving items and Wizard season tickets and donations and all those other items of benefit to the student organizations as well as the Alumni Association in the long run. So I see the value in helping the people that helped me get to where I am today. And I want to continue that tradition, if it's not me, with somebody else in the community as well. So, yeah.
Awesome. And Justin, you found success as a commercial agent. And so for you, it looks a little bit different when you build your sphere, if you will, in a particular community, because you do business in more than 10 states. Is that right?
Yeah. So actually, in closing this deal, I think Julie will probably ask me.
What deal? You said the deal. Now we got to hear about the deal. Tell us the deal. What deal, Justin?
So we just closed the largest multifamily transaction in Southern California in the past decade. It's $402 million deals. It's 5 buildings, 1,037 units of apartments over retail. And within finding our clients' exchange property, their uplegs, we've connected with
Just stop right there. I want you to say it one more time, because I think we really need to just, people are probably like, did I hear that correctly?
That's
$4 million. No, say it again. You did what?
$402 million.
It was a $402 million transaction.
Yeah. And so within finding our clients' uplegs, we connected with a bunch of people across this, America. And we like to say, our territory is North America. So we talk to all these wonderful agents and also off-market transactions in order to, transact in all these states. And so we have about 700 million in the queue right now. And so we're just really excited to just grind.
Wow. Wow. So when you have that, when North America is your stomping grounds, right? How do you connect with people in your community? Do you do like specifically help us out here? Because we're agents and we're trying to be like Justin. We want to close a $420 million deal. How do we really, build a sphere of influence, through a community like that? Like specifically, we need specifics, Justin.
It's funny that you asked that because with making this sale, we were on the news and I got a couple of agents that reached out to me. And with them having no confidence in closing a big deal that they've never closed before, I got presented a $100 million deal in Florida. And it's a big apartment building that we're working on to get under contract this week. And so we like to help others. And it was another AAPI member as well. So it was pretty surprising that we can keep it in the KW and AAPI family.
Yeah, nice. Good stuff. So Sujatha, how about you? You've built relationships, you mentioned with NAR in India, right?
Yes.
And so talk to us a little bit about worldwide, right? How do you influence or use your sphere of influence worldwide to impact your business?
Okay, that's a fantastic question. So this did not happen. It was kind of a very fortunate coincidence. Actually, a friend of mine, he just was installed this weekend. I was out of town as the president of the APSI, right? And so with that connection, we've been going to the NAR India events for the past 5 years. Just stopped going during COVID time. So what that allowed me to do is that I established a lot of wonderful connections in India. Now, when you go to these events, you have top professionals from all over the world. Right. And that's what I was saying. I'm a local presence, but global reach. And that's helped me have those relationships with these people. Now, what happens specifically with India is like, because I'm from a similar background, they feel, right, they connect with me very easily. And so we have a lot of people that have like kids going to college, right? And they want to buy a property in the US. So I'm able to help them. Now, being part of KW, I also have this reach with all the local realtors, right? When I say local, within the US, right? And so it may not be here, they're like all over the country. And when they come, I can connect them with all my counterparts all over the country. So, right, I send out referrals. And it's wonderful that way. I also have the reverse happening here. I have people that are selling their properties in New Jersey that want to move back to India because the opportunity there is, tremendous right now. And when that happens, I not only help them sell their properties here, but I can also connect them with realtors, no matter where they're going. So that's been very, very beneficial. And it's nice too that it's not just a name, you actually get to know these people because you're seeing them year over year. And we spend, a significant amount of time when we're away. So it does help, foster those relationships, and we get to know people and, feel very, very comfortable referring our clients.
I'm hearing a common theme of a referral network, and
definitely.
building a strong referral network is really helping you all be so successful. That's awesome.
Definitely.
Yeah. So Tommy, share with us, and community is a little bit different when I think of you because you are very involved in NAR and you have been for quite a long time. In fact, you were the first Korean American president of the Chicago Association of Realtors. Yep. And you've also been, well, you tell us, talk about, becoming the first, and also you had some other roles in NAR as well. How does that shape your business? Because sometimes people don't understand how spending that much time in a volunteer, position would actually impact your business. Help us understand that.
Yeah. So, it's a couple things, right? One, that the involvement is anchored by gratitude, right? And gratitude is something I say is recession proof, right? It doesn't matter what the equity markets say or interest rates are at, as long as you're coming from a place of gratitude, you're going to persevere and make it through. And for me, I'm
Well,
just
hold on.
so
First, I'm going to interrupt you because I feel like you skipped right past the fact that I said you were the first Korean American president of the Chicago Association of Realtors. And you were also what else, Tommy?
I was the first Asian American vice president of the National Association of Realtors. Yeah, in
Yes.
2021. Yes.
So we can't just
So
slide right
no,
past that.
totally. No, I appreciate you, Julia. So, you know, and all that, right, comes from me being wanting to raise my hand, be involved to protect this industry, because I'm so grateful for what it has, opportunities it's given me, my family, my team members, my business partners, everyone's around me, right? Now, getting to that position, you know, was a lot of things for my business. One, okay, when I was a little kid, I used to love collecting baseball cards. Okay. And one day specifically, I remember I was at the card shop and I found myself in the hockey card section. I didn't know anything about hockey, but why I was there was I was staring at this card. And it was a card of this player, Pittsburgh Penguins defenseman. His name was Jim Peck. And this guy looked like me. And I never seen anyone that looked like me on a playing card. I asked the shopkeeper if I could see it. I bought the card. I think I paid $3 for the card. Probably got ripped off. That was a lot of money back then, right? But that card, I put it in a plastic case, and it was next to me on my nightstand, next to my bed, and I would stare at it endlessly. And what that card did for me didn't make me want to become a hockey player, but it instilled a lot of confidence in me that if I wanted to, I could. If I want to be president one day, I could, because this person that looks like me did it. That's the power of inclusion. Yeah. And so I bring this up because being the 137th president of the Chicago Association of Realtors, you know, fourth largest association in this country, but the first Korean American president, for me, along that journey of wanting to do this for gratitude, things start to become more clear that, you know what, maybe I can be that Jim Peck, that card for the Asian community, right? In a community downtown Chicago where there's not many Asian realtors, right? Because there's not much as large of an Asian population there is compared to the suburbs. And so for me, it was being that so that we can inspire more from our community, say, hey, come. The pie is huge. There's a lot of opportunity here. Come here. You are welcome, right? The face of this organization looks like you. And so that was a huge piece that really expanded our business. We started to see more Asian realtors coming over to our Keller Williams brokerage as well. And that realtor community growing. And then just like Sujatha said, the amount of referrals nationally, especially when I was the vice president, that you get, because like-minded individuals, they want to be able to refer their clients to the similar like-minded individuals. It just really blew up our business. So, you know, now it's at a beautiful point where it's not so much about celebrating the first, right? That's important. What's more important is making sure that, you know, I'm not the last, and we're continuing on and keeping that door open.
Yeah. That's fabulous. So we only have a few more minutes, but we're going to go a little bit over. So if you're watching us live, just stick with us, because I've got two really important questions that I want to get in before we end, and because the chat is blowing up with people who want to know how to get a hold of you guys. So we'll talk about that in a moment. But first, again, what's brought us all together here is that it is AAPI Heritage Month. And so I want to make sure we spend some time talking about the importance of that. And how do you commemorate AAPI Heritage Month? Any of you can start. Yeah.
I'll jump in.
Yeah.
You know, I'll tell you, you know, the timeliness of this, unfortunate timeliness, you know, with the tragedy that occurred a couple of weeks ago in the hair salon in Dallas, where, you know, 3 Asian women were targeted and killed. You know, I was getting a lot of friends checking in on me, and I was having this like deja vu moment of when, you know, the tragedy that happened in Atlanta, that act of terror, maybe a year and a half ago. And, you know, these people checking in on me, the deja vu came in where there's this common statement and sentiment that I keep hearing from many of just like how constantly surprised they are with all the hate towards Asians being displayed in this country. And, you know, there's always been this stereotype of Asians being what we call the model minority. And this stereotype has always been disparaging for several reasons, right? It's a stereotype that presents a very inaccurate idea that Asian Americans are all monolithic, right? It also creates a wrong perception that Asian Americans see universal success when in reality, our communities actually face many socioeconomic disparities. And I also see model minority being used as an unfortunate comparison tool to downplay racism that other minorities face on a daily basis, right? Especially when it comes to the Black community, right? The foundation of being a model minority is this idea that, Black failure and Asian success cannot be explained by inequities and racism, and that they are one and the same. And we all know that's not true, right? This allows a segment of our country to avoid any responsibility and accountability for addressing racism and damage it's continues to inflict. So I bring this up because this is why I think so many people continue to be surprised, right? That call me saying, I can't believe this is continually happening to the Asian American community. This stereotype of model minority is continually muting our community, and also in the media. And so I bring this up, Julia, and I'm grateful for you asking this question because, the best way I celebrate is continuing to listen and continuing to learn. And it's the same principle and logics I apply, whether it's Black History Month, next month, LGBTQ plus month, right? Or National Hispanic Heritage Month, constantly seeking out education, right? So that then you can use your voice to influence and share amongst your communities. And that's why I'm so grateful for you, because what happens if there was no Julia Lashay at Keller Williams? Does that mean DEI just stops? Right? We have to be at a place now where we have to seek out proactively to become educated, to be able to share on our platforms versus expect to be taught, right? From especially the Asian community here. And so while this is something that we were born into and we lived what DEI is now, and while we have this month to spotlight, this is something that we choose to celebrate every day, right? And acknowledge. So that's how I do, and how I empower many of our colleagues to do as well.
Wow, that's awesome and very, very powerful. Someone else, I see you want to say something. Please, Justin, go ahead. Yes.
I'll add to that because when they were beating up our Asian elderly, it kind of hit home because they looked exactly like my grandparents, my parents. And I think we're known to be kind of like the timid ethnicity, and it's rare for someone to speak out and, help someone else. It's more so like, let's just ignore that and not be a hero. But I think we need to kind of band together and make sure to help one another. And so it doesn't happen to someone like your parents, like your relatives. Yeah.
Thank you. I saw that you had your hand up, PJ.
Well, with what they said in mind, I think it's important to commemorate AAPI Heritage Month through active and positive representation. And I tend to do that by doing two things throughout the month of May. One is establishing a program or fund with an established 501c3 in honor of a member of the AAPI community that I personally consider a hero. For example, last year I started a program with Bethany House of Northern Virginia. We called it the Tito Pat's Ride to a Better program. Tito is a Filipino way of saying uncle. Bethany House is important to our area here in Northern Virginia because it helps domestic abuse survivors with employment and shelter placement. And knowing that the program that I named in honor of Tito Pat is there to help domestic abuse survivors with free transportation to interviews, employment training programs through a partnership that I have with Uber. We have actually been able to help several families become self-sufficient because of one program in honor of one Filipino American who immigrated to this country back in the 1970s. This year, I'm going to be establishing the Lola Fe Education Fund with the Puso Foundation and George Mason University's Filipino Culture Association, where we provide learning kits with textbooks, school supplies, class materials for the entire year for two whole elementary schools, one in Rizal and the other one in Marikina City. The second thing that I do is I like to teach classes overseas to particularly KW Philippines, as well as other small business interest groups that are trying to learn more and more about how we're able to succeed and establish our businesses here in the United States. So far, I've taught 5 classes for 3 different offices in Luzon, including 3 Ignite sessions over Zoom. And personally, I believe that if we continue to teach these classes, we continue to have these programs in honor of people who meant the world to not only the Filipino community, but also to the AAPI community as a whole, I think that establishing that legacy is going to be just as impactful as a hockey card that's going to make you do amazing things in the future. So at the end of the day, yeah, that's typically how I like to do it, because the best way to curb any discrimination, the best way to curb any doubt is to just essentially be proactive with it and to be a positive representation of what you want to be, because the way that you deliver yourself is the way that the world's going to approach you in the future.
Oh, I love that. That's great.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. There's the card.
I have it. I still have it.
Yay, all right.
It's in my office.
There's the card. I love that story. That is awesome, Tommy.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Sujatha, how about you? How do you celebrate and commemorate AAPI Heritage Month?
It's so funny that you asked that question, because when they say, what do you want to do for Mother's Day? I'm like, how do you celebrate Mother's Day? I'm like, I'm celebrating it every day. Right? Right? No, seriously, I mean that. I don't have to go celebrate it on that particular day. I think every day is that for me. Right. And I kind of say that, I mean, going, with what Tommy and just said, you kind of live it every day. But what we're doing for the community is we kind of have a fun event going on. We kind of try to do it, like, I think it was supposed to be last weekend, but it didn't work out because of the weather. So it's going to be pushed off into June. But it was like and it's nice. Sometimes, you can engage people with the fun aspect of the culture and while sharing the important information, right, while making them aware of the issues and everything else. So this particular year, I think it was supposed to be a holy celebration, kind of like the Festival of Colors. And that's exciting for me. And I tell people always, like, there's so many aspects, right? Choose the one that works for you, right? And become part of that, right? And that's your contribution. So then it's like, it's coming from inside, right? It's very easy to participate because you're not doing it for anybody, you're doing it more for you. And when you're joyful, you're enjoying it, you spread that around. So that's what we're doing. And it's going to be, I think we can have about 500 people at the event, and I'm super excited.
Thank you. That is exciting. It sounds like a ton of fun.
Yes.
So what I heard you all say was there's a number of ways that we also as agents can collectively celebrate and commemorate this month alongside you by learning. I heard, Tommy, many of you have mentioned, all of you have mentioned the importance of education and getting educated and even sharing that knowledge once you get that knowledge.
For sure.
KW does have a diversity certification, kwagentofdistinction.com, and you can learn more about, like Justin was saying, diversifying your team, or learn more about different communities, and how best practices work in different communities. All of those things are something that we add, and you've all talked about how you give back to the community, either by way of all of the things that PJ is saying to honor someone, or give back by sharing knowledge and information, or you just give back by being excellent millionaire real estate agents and representing well, right? You said positive representation. All of those are ways that I think we can all do, right, to give back and to commemorate. Now, like I mentioned, everybody wants to know y'all. So how do people get a hold of you? Do you have a handle that they can go to? Do you have an Instagram, an email? Please share with all of the people who are like, oh my gosh, I so want to be Tommy Choi or Justin Chu or PJ or Sujatha. How do they get a hold of you and follow you?
Instagram for me is the best. My handle is my first name, middle name, last name, Tommy Ju, Joo Choi, CHOI.
Tommy Ju Choi.
Yep.
That's on Instagram. All right. How do they get a hold of you, PJ?
We'll say that Signal and Instagram are the 2 that I typically work with. Signal is actually an app that's used introduced to me by members of the intelligence community here in the DC metro area. So FBI, CIA, NSA.
I've never heard of it. It sounds very top secret.
But it's a lot of fun to work with. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's just that if you do want to have that private conversation, you don't want other people to know about it. I understand the importance of discretion in some cases, sure, especially as an introvert myself. And yeah, if you just want to chat and you want to go over a situation, just find me on Signal with the same number that's on the site, and we'll go from there.
What's the number on the site?
Oh, 571-217-2177. I promise you that's a real number.
Say it again.
571-217-2177. 2177.
All
That's my
right,
Signal handle. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Justin, how do we find you?
So mine's probably Instagram, but it's flooded with like real estate and fitness stuff. It's Justin Chu without the I, JUSTNCHU.
Okay. All right. Sujatha?
You can call me. My telephone number is 732-319-1340. Email is sbgroupnj@gmail.com. And Facebook is facebook.com/bestinNJ, one word.
Best
that.
in NJ, that's a fact. Yeah. Listen, this has been phenomenal. I waited for it all weekend to hear what you all were going to share with us. I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for your commitment to your communities. And I thank you for your service as being phenomenal Keller Williams agents. I am so excited and proud to be in business with you. And I thank you for your time on this wonderful, fabulous Monday in AAPI Heritage Month. Thank you all so much. Take care,
Thank
everyone.
you, Julia.
Thank you, Julia.
Thank you.
Grateful for you.
Bye.